I've been reading comics non-stop since 1996, but before that, I dipped my toes in for the death of Superman. I mostly stuck to the Superman titles after that. I dabbled in other DC titles, and added in some Marvel books like Amazing Spider-Man, and a few random X-Men books. I enjoyed the books. They were fun to read, I liked the art, hell, I learned to draw from comics. I liked the stories and the characters. All the books made me really like comics, but what made me love comics was one thing, well, one man, Joe Mad. Now, I've been an X-Men fan since the 90s cartoon. I tried to get into the comics, but they never really got my interest. I also had a problem finding the books. There had been this chain of stores called Moondogs where I'd get my books, but they closed. So for a while, I couldn't get anything new unless I could get someone to take me to this place called 10th Planet, which no one wanted to do. But then I found out that Walden Books carried comics, and one of the first books I bought was Uncanny X-Men 335. I mean, look at that cover, how do you not want to know what's going on? The funny thing is that 335 is in the middle of the Onslaught saga. That's when Xavier's mind was slowly being taken over by the evil from Magneto's mind, which he'd wiped after Magneto had pulled all the adamantium out of Wolverine's body. This evil fed on Xavier's psionic powers and on his own dark side. The result was Onslaught, someone who looked very similar to Magneto, but clearly had these psychic abilities. Now, like I said, I jumped in at the midpoint, where Apocalypse is talking to the Watcher, so I didn't know what the hell was going on, but damned if I wasn't hooked. And who wouldn't be with Joe Mad's art? His art is like heroin, one hit and you're hooked for life. I poured over the pages, just drinking in everything I saw. His poses were awesome, his panel layouts were awesome, his character designs were awesome. And the timing was perfect because anime, which was still being called Japanimation at the time, was hitting big. And here was this guy who fused American and Japanese styles together, and it was the hotness. Oh yeah, there was some story too. I'm just kidding. I know some folks don't like Scott Lobdell, but I really liked his writing on the book. I wasn't lost at all, and again, this was me jumping into the middle of an event. I felt like I already knew the characters from the cartoons, and these guys read the same way, so it was really just a matter of following along until I got all the backstory I needed for stuff to make sense. What sold me were all these cool moments, like when Psylocke melts out of a shadow to give the other X-Men some info, and she's like, "What are you staring at?" "That ass." And Storm is like, "So you can move through shadows now." Okay. I just loved that scene. Another fun one was in issue 341, the Christmas issue. Not only do we get this awesome showdown between Purple Superman and Jetass, but we also get this great moment where Joseph, still thought to be the reformed Magneto, used his powers and some tech to be able to kiss Rogue. This was a huge deal because they had been a couple in Age of Apocalypse, and this was bringing that into the real Marvel Universe. Another great issue was 340, one that Cena Grace should have read before writing Iceman. This is where Bobby's dad is brutally attacked by Graydon Creed, Sabretooth's son, after he stood up for mutants during a newscast. There was a good moment between Bobby's dad and Gambit, and Bobby's dad basically says that it's not right for people to go after mutants because it's like they're targeting his son. That's the guy that Grace turned into a bigot. A guy in a hospital for defending mutants. One of my favorite scenes is when Cannonball goes to confront Creed, and these bodyguards move to stop him from going into the room, and Sam is like, "I can think of 12 ways to remove his hand, half of which would allow him to keep it attached to his arm." I love that kind of stuff. And then there was 337, the post-Onslaught Saga follow-up where we get this kind of slice-of-life soft reset of the book. My favorite part is how it reads like a family book. They all get together to eat breakfast in the ruined mansion, and it's just a cool way to show the X-Men as normal people. And then there was 338, where an angel gets his wings back. Every one of these books was a joy to read, just from the stories, but Joe Mad's art sealed it for me. Whether it was the Cannonball Gladiator fight, Apocalypse chatting it up with the Watcher, or this weird flirtation with Bishop and Deathbird, Joe Mad brought it. I pored over these issues, literally drew several of them page by page, which is how I accidentally realized that the art had to be drawn on bigger paper because I couldn't get all that detail into an 8.5 by 11 page. I flipped through them so much that the covers are pretty much falling off. I'm not lying when I say Joe Mad taught me how to draw. I stole most of everything I'm decent at drawing from him. Hair, abs, expressions, poses, mostly Joe Mad. And the thing is, he kept getting better with each issue. Seriously, go and look at issues 335 to 350. Every one he draws, every one of them, he's better than before. When he left the X-Men to do Battle Chasers, I was like, don't leave when you're hitting your prime. But he did. And every now and again, he'll tease us with a little bit of X-Men here, a little Spider-Man there. Oh, fuck, Uncanny X-Men 346, that Spider-Man issue. Who didn't want him to do a Spider-Man book at that very moment? Come on and tell that lie and say you didn't. The way he had the webbing spinning like a Hadouken, are you kidding? I brought that issue to school and practically had to steal it back because everyone, even the Christian brothers, were loving it. This is what comics used to be like, where you get a book and be like, damn, now I gotta wait another month for my fix. And that's what Joe Matt's art did to me. It damn near had me at Walden Books clutching my shirt like a crackhead. I was sad to see Joe Matt leave Marvel, and sadder that every fucking store sold out of Battle Chasers before I could get a copy. Every one of them. Nowhere to be found for years. But it was fine because he got me to fall in love with comics. So my question to all my listeners here is, what got you to fall in love with comics? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for listening.